What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Christian J Show, The Crime Chronicles. Before we dive in today's case, I want to let y'all know something before I talk about this episode. So, you probably were wondering why there wasn't a new episode last Wednesday and last Saturday. Honestly, I can say because I put out a post on TikTok, I was dealing a lot with my mental health. Like, my mental health was, in a way to put it, fucked up. My mental health was a little fucked up, and I was it was bad. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. It was it was bad, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be real with everyone because I'm not one of those type of people that's gonna like, okay, well, it wasn't all that. It was, no, it was fucked up, and I was dealing with that. Then honestly, I didn't feel any motivation to put out a new episode. Because with me and this podcast, I always wanted to be great. I put everything I have into this podcast, and when I tell you I didn't even have the motivation to record an episode, I didn't I didn't even feel like putting up my lighting and hooking up my microphone and hooking up my laptop. I didn't even feel like doing all of that because I felt unmotivated. But I had to push myself to drop this episode and the other episode that was supposed to come out Saturday, to drop it today, because this right here, this podcast is my baby. It's mine. I created it, and there's no dramatic twist. There's no scandal. It's just a moment where I had to choose myself. To be honest, I had to choose myself over the show. Now the show means everything to me, but I'm human, and sometimes the weight of the world can get on your shoulders, and you just feel like you can't even come up for air sometimes. Like, I even neglected my college work. Like, I barely had enough just to put out a discussion post. Like, luckily I was able to do the work that was due today, but still, like, I neglected that because that's how unmotivated I was. And during this season with the true crime and learn about all of these crimes and all these people who have done horrible crimes and all these victims, it's the weight of the storytelling, and especially with this season, it gets heavy. So I just had to take a break because I just had to regroup. I had to regroup. I had to breathe. But now I'm back, stronger, and ready to face life head on. So thank you for listening, and just thank you for listening. Now let's get into it. Today's case is one of the most infamous cases in American history. A woman accused of butchering her own parents with an axe a trial that captivated the nation, and a verdict that still sparks debate over a century later. This is the story of Lizzie Borden. Fall River, Massachusetts, August 4th, 1892. The Borden household was quiet, like too quiet, like an eerie silence. By mid morning, the silence shattered. Andrew Borden, Lizzie's father, was found slumped on the couch, his face nearly unrecognizable. Hours later, upstairs, Abby Borden, Lizzie's stepmother, was discovered in a pool of blood. Both had been struck multiple times with a hatchet. The town was horrified. The media swarmed, and suspicion fell on one person, Lizzie herself. Now, Lizzie. Lizzie said she was in the bar, alone, looking for fishing sinkers. That was her story. That was her alibi. She claimed she had gone out around 9:30 a.m., stayed for nearly 20 minutes, and returned to find her father murdered. But here's the thing. The bar was stifling hot that morning, dusty, claustrophobic. Investigators found no footprints in the thick layer of dust and no signs of recent activity. And the sinkers, they were never found. Now this is where stuff didn't add up. She said she heard nothing and she saw nothing, but the maid, Bridget Sullivan, was in the house and she said she heard Lizzie laugh at the top of the stairs, moments before Abby's body was discovered in the guest room and her skull was split open. And then there was the dress. Lizzie burned a dress days after the murders. She said it was stained with paint. Investigators suspected blood, but no one could prove it. No one saw her commit the crime. Just whispers and shadows. Now, this is, I feel like people started thinking she did it because the way she was detached. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She asked if she could sleep in the house where her parents had just been slaughtered. And when questioned, her answer shifted. She contradicted herself a lot. She seemed confused or calculated. Now, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know what to believe. I don't think she did it. I don't. But eh, who knows at this point. Then came the trial. In June of 1893, the courtroom in New Bedford was packed. Reporters elbowed for space. Spectators clutched their pearls. And Lizzie, she was pale, composed, and dressed in all black, and sat at the center of it all. She didn't testify. Her defense didn't want her words twisted. Instead, they painted her as the dutiful daughter, a church-going woman, refined, feminine, too delicate to wield a hatchet with such force. But the prosecution had questions. Why did she burn a dress days after the murders? Why did her story shift from the barn to the kitchen to upstairs? Why was there no sign of forced entry, no robbery, no motive behind simmering resentment? Now, all the evidence was circumstantial. No blood on Lizzie, no murder weapon, definitively linked to her, just suspicion. just silence. Just the unsettling fact that she was home when both murders occurred. And then came the verdict. Not guilty. The courtroom gasped. Lizzie collapsed in her lawyer's arms. Outside, the crowd erupted, some in celebration and others in disbelief. But the acquittal wasn't absolution. Lizzie walked free, but she never escaped the whispers, the nursery rhyme, the legacy. She lived the rest of her life in Fall River, orchestrated, wealthy, and alone. Now, was justice served, or did privilege and gender bias tip the scales? I don't know. Like I said, I don't even know. We don't even know who did it. It's not like we have a time machine to go back to these certain points in time and try to figure out who actually did this, who actually did that. Now, thank you for listening to this episode. Now, you might have some questions on did she do it or not? And I'm like you, I have the same questions. But until then, we're going to leave it off with this. Did she do it? What really happened in the house? Or was there someone else? Did she pay somebody? Or did her father have an enemy? Or did her stepmother have an enemy? Mm-hmm. Until then, protect your peace, question everything, and never stop digging. I have been your host, Christian J, and this is the Christian J Show, The Crime Chronicles.